actually get started because there's so much I want to cover, and I mean, it's rare with Uruguayan music to start on time. If we were in Uruguay, we'd start in about 15, 20 minutes, but I want to make sure I cover everything, and most importantly, I want to open up the end for questions, or if even some of you want to come, maybe try your hand at a couple of these instruments. It's so rare to have an opportunity to touch them here in the States that I want that to be a possibility. Out of curiosity, just to start, how many of you have heard of Candombe? All right, so about half. In 2009, I had never heard of Candombe, and I was really interested in Brazilian music and Argentine music and things of those areas. I'm not even sure I could have said exactly that Uruguay was the little country wedged in between those two South American giants at the time. I knew it was in South America. That might have been the extent of things. This sort of turned into, this was supposed to be a one-semester project for me that kind of then consumed my life at this point. It became my doctoral dissertation focus, and then I just went and lived there for 9 months to study all of this. Candombe is a generic word, which makes this problematic. If I say candombe, and I could be going to anything in Uruguay that had to do with these drums. And that's sort of the main focus here is, if you talk about candombe, you're talking about music, dance, maybe a way of life, culture, but what defines it are these three drums. In particular, I'm talking about the llamadas, which is one sort of manifestation of candombe in Uruguay. And llamadas also can kind of be various events, and that's kind of how I refer to them. There are two types generally. There are spontaneous llamadas, which is really informal, maybe just 2, 3 guys get together. It can be more, but there's sort of no rules, and they'll just play. What I ended up focusing on, because they were more public events, were organized llamadas, which are generally in the form of parades, really large parades featuring anywhere from between 20 to 70, maybe more drummers. And these take place throughout the streets of Montevideo, Uruguay's capital city. The organized llamadas have a few more rules. It was easier to compare and contrast different styles and things through these events. So that's the focus for today, is really the more organized llamadas and how these rhythms sort of are used in this particular context. But I thought before I got into the nuts and bolts of each individual drum and the rhythms, things like that, I would just give you an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. And this particular event that I'm going to show you is sort of walking the line between an informal llamada and a highly organized event. So the llamadas for San Balthazar take place on January 6th every year in Montevideo. And they're highly organized, meaning there are multiple groups that come out and parade in one central location, but almost anyone can sort of jump in the parade and start dancing. Generally the drummers are set, but there aren't as many rules in terms of who can play what rhythm. And you'll see just the costumes and things like that. This is an event that takes place during Carnival sometimes that becomes very lavish, but here you'll notice people are just in their street clothes. Their lines aren't maybe as tight as they would be in Carnival. It's a lot like drum corps sometimes, where the formations during Carnival are judged. So this particular video I just like because it shows a little bit more of the looseness of things and what I experience more on a day-to-day basis.